Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahabashai, Bahasham, Barakahak Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahabashai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, in the Apocrypha, verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, which is exactly what the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers that come in the spirit of GMS are doing, by watching the news and reading the scriptures and filtering the news through the scriptures to go out onto the highways and byways to preach this word, as well as put up video epistles like this, to warn the people out here of the terrible times to come. On the one hand, the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel consisting of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Israelite foreigners who look like these heathen nations, to tell you what you need to do to get back into the good graces of your power, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, so you can hope to have that protective hedge over you during Jacob's trouble. And then on the other hand, to tell the wicked of our people and you heathens of the great judgment that's coming for the iniquity you've been committing. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, visit it and judge you people for all the iniquity you've been committing. Verse 3, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, some of the end time signs to look for to know that we're living in the last days. And when you go to Matthew chapter 24, it also talks about wars and rumors of wars, kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation, etc., etc. And we can clearly see that there are earthquakes taking place in diverse places all across the planet, damn near daily, and especially uproars in the people in the world, which is what I'll be going to in this video with a clip from This Is John Williams' YouTube channel titled Dublin Has Collapsed, America Scheduled to Be Next. And I'm going to play about the first 4 minutes or so of this clip. But hey, as we'll see, there definitely are uproars of the people in the world, and it's only going to intensify as we get closer and closer to the end of things, Jacob's trouble popping off, and the end of this current society, this age, this kingdom of the rulership of the heathen nations, chiefly by the biblical Edomites, or the so-called white people as they're known today, before the second coming of the Son of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, who's going to save the elect and usher in the kingdom of heaven under the children of Israel. Verse 4, Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And we can clearly see that we are living in the times of the end manifesting right before us. Now let's get into that video. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for education.
What's up, guys? John here. Over the last 12 months, we've witnessed massive protests around the world.
Violent protesters rioted in Dublin city centre last night.
In France, protesters have clashed with police, set cars on fire, and vandalized shops. Hundreds under arrest.
Israel, fiery protests erupting in the streets tonight.
With the rare exception of that being in America, as of now. However, when we start to connect the dots here, we're walking into what I believe is going to be far worse here in America than almost anywhere else. You have to ask yourself why. Why are...
And hey, America's going to be ground zero, for the destruction, the judgment, the calamities that the Most High is bringing upon this planet, because America, which is biblically known as Babylon the Great, is the bedrock for wickedness on this planet. Wickedness emanates from this place through its policies, its economics, its military adventures abroad, and it's media from Hollywood, social media like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, anything like that.
We're going to be walking into a big problem. Well, look at the funding. Look at where this capital is going. Look at where all the push is heading for.
Crisis at the U.S. border. Thousands of migrants, families who have made the long journey from as far away as Venezuela.
Early estimates for the cost of this crisis top $200 billion.
It's the West. The West is in very, very, very big trouble, and I'm going to break it down for you clearly with verifiable facts in this video so you can see exactly what's happening to make smart, forward-thinking decisions in advance. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate other people about what's really going on. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you with my
And the only smart, forward-thinking decision you can make is, for one, you have to be an Israelite. For two, you have to be, of that elect number, the Most High giving you the understanding of these scriptures. And then with that knowledge, right now during this grace period, you're doing everything you can to make your calling and election sure. So again, you can have that protective hedge of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai over you for when all hell truly breaks loose during Jacob's trouble. The riots, the famines, the race wars, martial law, civil unrest, and ultimately those 200 million nuclear missiles, which are going to hit the United States of America and turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. And, getting your stock portfolio or any of that stuff is not going to matter. As it says in Ezekiel, they shall cast their gold and their silver into the streets. You should be spiritually preparing right now, not physically preparing to, so-called maneuver yourself in the best economic position because you think things are going to bounce back with this current system, which they're not.
GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So you can see this map here, all of the different protests that have erupted in the last, call it 11 months, right? All of 2023. You have 400 significant anti-government protests have erupted, apparently, right? 132 countries have experienced significant protests. 23% of significant protests have lasted more than 3 months, and 135 significant economic anti-government protests have occurred since 2017. So you see.
And there shall be uproars of the people in the world,
the ramp up
all over
that's
the world.
Been happening. But look at this. We all remember this massive event that happened in France 6 months ago with Nahil, right? This is a very, very interesting narrative that's being kind of spit out. The last 36 months, everything was about divide and conquer. It was about, the color of one's skin. It was about, who one would vote for. Everything was about separating and dividing the people. And so when you look at what's going on here, you have to really ask yourself the big question. We're hearing about all of these, situations with migration, right? And there's a really, really big push. And they're saying, right here, that these facilities to, put migrants, right, with tax dollars, and that's why they're protesting, because of the crime is why they are protesting. Here, look at how viral these clips are going, by the way. 1 million views right off the bat. This, 2.3 million views. You have this here, 1.3 million views. Like, this is getting out of control. But you have to ask yourself, if you're looking at what's going on around the world, the cost of food, the cost of living, cost of just basic survival, it's through the roof, right? It's absolutely crazy. If you were in a different country and you could barely survive there, but someone was willing to, give you a few grand a month or give you $500 a month or give you some money, give you some type of subsidy, you'd probably consider it if you had no other options, right? And that's what's happening right now. We're seeing migration all over the world. It's not just coming to America. This is happening everywhere. Massive, massive funding, massive migration. And with that is going to be a completely different society. It's going to be a completely different set of standards that are going to be pushed on the people. Living standards pushed on the people. Crime is going to continue to change as people continue to get pushed into a very difficult and vulnerable situation. And so when you look at what's happening here in America, it's very, very fascinating. And this is literally everywhere, right? When you look at what's going on here in America, BBC News, you see that this trend is going to be worse here than just about anywhere else, because America was the land of the free, the home of the brave, the land of opportunity. It's where everyone wanted to always come, right? People would think, hey, I can go there, I can work really, really hard, I can raise my family there, provide them a lot of opportunity. And for many, many, many decades, that's what people did. But now America is no longer a place where people can just come and live easily. It's a very expensive place to live. Even if you live in what they deem as an affordable neighborhood, it's still extremely expensive. And so when you're seeing millions and millions of people
let's play a
trying to
little
come
more.
here.
That's pretty much it with that video. Hey, and prices are only going to continue to go up in the United States of America as inflation, turns to hyperinflation, and these different countries continue to de-dollarize. It's all a part of the plan by the elites to collapse this system and bring in that what? That GREATRESET, that digital cashless society. So it don't matter who's the president or, what your politicians say. Things about to get a hell of a lot more expensive. More people are going to lose their jobs and get kicked out on the streets. And then what? Turn to crime to survive. Let's get back into these precepts. This is Revelation chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 5. And this is dealing with, the so-called 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which are just symbolic of the different, calamities, judgments, and conditions that would be taking place during these last days. And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." And when we go to that word penny in the Strong's, it's G1220, denarion. And in the outline of biblical usage, it says denarius, or containing 10, a Roman silver coin in New Testament times. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses, and that was another coin during the Roman times. It started off as a bronze coin, I think during the late Republic era, to a copper coin during the Roman Empire era. And then as it says, 10 of them were equal to a denarius. A number after 217 BC increased to 16, about 3.898 grams or 0.1375 ounces. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages, because in the ancient world, you got paid the very same day you worked. It's not like this wicked society we live in now to where you get paid, what, every week or every 2 weeks. So with that in mind, you got to read it like this. A measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. So what? Using your entire paycheck to buy what? A loaf of bread, a case of water, a hamburger, some pasta or anything. And what's that? Inflation, going into hyperinflation and the dollar losing its value. So what? You got to use more dollars to get the same items. And in a lot of cases, for less, because they have something called shrinkflation, where these manufacturers make the containers of these different products, either slimmer or make the bottoms more concave. So it looks like the same package, but it's got less stuff in it. This society is just completely wicked out here. And as, John in that clip said, hey, things are just getting more expensive on all levels in the United States of America. So America is just going to continue to deteriorate, get worse and worse out here as we get closer and closer to the end. Like I said, expect more people to lose their jobs, more people to be lose their homes, be out here on the streets, going for what they know, robbing people, killing people, breaking into people's houses, doing all manners of crime out here to survive. But this is Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 12, verses 3 to 4. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. And the keepers of the house are those of the economy. These economists, these so-called experts, Wall Street, all that. And why would they be trembling? Seeing these different stock prices, those numbers plummet to all-time lows. The system fracturing and breaking all around them. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. And grinding, a grinder is what? A worker. Like Jake says, I'm on my grind. And the grinders cease because they are few. And why would they be few? Because more businesses are going out. So what? They're firing their employees, people being jobless. And those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the doors shall be shut in the streets of these different businesses when the sound of the grinding or working is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. People waking up early to try to find a new job. But what does it say? Though they looked out the window, but it was darkened. There are no jobs out here because all these businesses continue to go out. And then the job you do get, what? You got to work multiple part-time jobs just to keep your head above the water. And then on top of that, what? A measure of wheat for a penny and a measure of barley for a penny. Due to inflation, you're having to pay more for less. There's going to come a point to where, people are going to completely reach their breaking point, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And like John was saying all throughout that video, the United States of America is going to get it the worst. And like I said, this place is going to get the worst judgment on earth because it's the bedrock of wickedness. But I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. And you're seeing that in the United States of America, especially since that whole situation from 2019 to 2021, really to this present day. There's been an uptick in, depression amongst Americans, drug and alcohol abuse, suicidal thoughts, everything. And then on top of that, a worsening economic condition. The mirth of the tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. People are having to they're having to stretch their dollars, so they're not able to go on the trips they used to like to go to, celebrate the holidays like they used to do, just go out and have a good time. They're in survival mode. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Instead of drinking, to have a good time, they're drinking to drown out their sorrows. Verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. And Babylon in the Hebrew is Babel, which means confusion. And the United States of America is Babylon the Great. And this is a place of great confusion. Hey, just look at these pronouns out here. That's all that needs to be said. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. Back in Ecclesiastes 12 and 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding or working is low. Businesses going out, people losing their jobs, getting fired, you name it. There's the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. And that wine, isn't going into a literal bottle of wine. That's going into, understanding. People are looking for answers out here. What are we going to do? What happens next? But the only true answers you're going to find is from the prophets breaking down the scriptures correctly, which at this point we can see that the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is dealing with GMS. And even then, only the elect of the nation of Israel are going to be able to drink that wine, so to speak, and understand what's going on. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All the joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Point blank, period. So, hey, if you were expecting things to get better, hey, you better throw that notion out the window. Things are only going to get worse from here on out. So that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. As we can clearly see, we are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala.